What's up everyone? This is Dave Atkinson here from drumlessons.com, and on this video we're going to talk about some double bass speed tips. Now there are a lot of different tips and tricks people use when they're developing speed. I'm going to just give you a few basic ones that you should take to your drum set when you're practicing for double bass speed. Now the first one, and the most important one, is setting up your pedals correctly. What I mean by this is you want to make sure both springs have the same tension. You don't want to have one beater a lot easier to play than the other one. They're not going to be uniform then when you're playing with both feet. So make sure that you have them set up so when you flick one beater back, the other one follows quite similarly. Next, I want to talk about the angle of the footboard. Now this one doesn't usually need adjusting, but I have seen some people who have one pedal here and one pedal like this. Try to make them as the same angle, just so it's more uniform for your left and your right feet. Lastly, make sure your bass drum has the correct amount of muffling in there. Now I know this might not seem important, might be personal, oh I want my bass drum to sound this way, but when you're playing fast strokes, you don't want to have too much slap to your bass drum skin. When you have a lot of slap, what happens is your pedals respond to that and it's a lot harder to get quick speed. What I like to do is I have enough muffling in my bass drum, maybe touching the bass drum batter head just a little bit, just so it helps control that resonance and it gives me some more firmness to the bass drum head. Now this next tip is a very important tip. What it is using your ankles after a certain speed rather than your legs. It's a very similar concept to using your wrists and your fingers. A lot of drummers, when they play single stroke roll, they can only go so fast with their wrists, they end up using their fingers to go beyond that. Same thing with your double bass. I see a lot of drummers playing with their legs as fast as they can, and they get so tired and they can't go any faster. When you hit that tempo, it's time to transition into your ankles. A lot of people who play heels up have no problem doing this. If you play heel down, it might be a little more tricky. Try to transition into your ankles rather than always using your legs. It's always easier to move your smaller muscles faster than your bigger muscles. Keeping in line with the muscles, you want to make sure that you don't tense up. When you're playing fast, a lot of drummers, and this goes for really good drummers or beginner drummers, they tense up. When you tense up, it forces a lot of strain on your whole body and you just can't play smooth. And this is a very important thing when you're playing double bass. When you're playing at faster speeds, try to be as loose as possible. It'll allow you to play for longer and it'll allow you to actually play a lot smoother and faster. Okay, this one is a bit of a no-brainer. You are only as fast as your weaker foot. So what I like to do is I like to focus on just playing my weak foot. That way I can isolate it and focus on building the speed of that foot alone. Here's a little exercise that I like to do. It's just a basic pattern, hi-hat and snare with my bass drum on my left foot, focusing only on that. Check this out. Now, if you're practicing just for speed, you don't really need to worry about endurance yet. What I like to do is to develop my ankles and my leg muscles to go fast is play patterns of 4 and 8, switching between the snare and the bass drum. Why this is a great tip is because it forces you to play short bursts at faster speeds. Once your muscle memory gets into the habit of playing these fast speeds, increase them to 16 patterns on each, increase them to 32. The longer you can go playing these fast patterns, the more you build up your endurance and your speed. So check this pattern out. I'm going to do 4 on the snare and followed by 4 on the feet, and I'm going to keep building up the speed. Check this out. So as you can see, you just start slow, try to build up that tempo. Eventually you'll get to the part where you're playing as fast as you can. That's when you start doing patterns of 8 and 8, 16 and 16, and slowly building from there. Now this last tip is very important. It involves playing with a click track and marking your progress. So what you do is you just mark a certain amount of time, see how fast you can go at a certain tempo, chart it down. Maybe do this once a week or once every other day. It's really important to do this as you can see your improvement and see where you need to work on, see your strengths, see your weaknesses. Very important to do that. So there you have it, just a few tips on developing speed on the double bass. Now I've actually included a progress chart on this website. So just scroll down below the video, you'll see a link where you can download it, print it off and start marking your progress down for double bass speed. Now if you're watching this somewhere else, just click the video description, you'll see a link that'll bring you to the site. You can download it there. Also stay tuned because we're going to have a few other videos loaded with more tips, tricks, and secrets to developing speed, control, and endurance on your double bass drum. I'll see you there.